Mitch, I want to turn it back over to you because you wrote an excellent piece on our Substack that went out yesterday, kind of analyzing some of these in-season quarterback battles. And that's where I want to start. That's what I want our appetizer to be here on 3Tech Takeout. We've got a lot of spicy in-season quarterback battles, quarterback controversies, maybe quarterback decisions that need to be made. I'll let you take it. You wrote about several, but where do you want to start tonight to kind of break down these decisions that coaches are going to have to face?
Yeah, you've got this as kind of the appetizer, a little something for the table segment. I think this article is the bang bang shrimp of our meal tonight. You could easily stretch this into the entree. I mean, hand up, I have done that before. Little double dip. Ask them to run it right back, and I'll just have that for my main course. Quarterback battles across the country fascinated me 3 weeks in, and I can't remember. Maybe it's just that we've really ramped up our coverage here in year 3 of the podcast. But I can't remember a year where this many teams, prominent teams too, have had interesting quarterback battles heading into conference play for some teams. Some teams haven't opened it up yet, but for the most part, I feel like you know what you're going to get with one quarterback. Maybe you think that the grass is greener on the other side with another quarterback. Maybe you know that grass is greener. I think for us, very personally, we watched Marcel Reed ball out in the swamp. Connor Wegman, the incumbent starter at Texas A&M, out with an AC joint sprain. There is a lot of questions around his health. He got another MRI, a second opinion on that joint today. We'll see if A&M updates us about his health going forward the rest of this week. I kind of suspect that they won't. Mike Elko said in his press conference today it will be a game time decision. And I figure just like we did this past Saturday, we'll figure out who's QB1 for the Aggies when that right before kickoff, when that announcement probably gets made by the media. But Marcel Reed, man, he made the offense look fast and explosive in a way that we've seen the first 2 weeks with Connor Wegman. Is that fair to Connor? I don't know quite yet. I think part of this is the admission that even though we've watched 3 games worth of film, I still don't know that there is time to draw a lot of conclusions, especially in this scenario where Marcel Reed makes his first road start. Maybe he gets a little lucky. Florida's defense is not exactly world beaters. And we haven't seen Connor fully healthy yet this season. I remind you, and I've reminded people on Twitter, when we did see Connor fully healthy, he was making Jimbo's offense look somewhat functional. 16 touchdowns, 2 picks in his career coming into this season. We don't really know how much of that Notre Dame game he played hurt, he played sick, whatever. Bad game, worst of his career. What we do know is that a lot of Aggies and people around the national media immediately jettisoned him, said Connor Wegman's no good, and threw him to the wolves. Marcel Reed's success in the swamp has done nothing but put fuel on that fire. So, for us as Aggie fans, I think we just want the quarterback that is going to run the offense in the most competent manner possible. We want to see Colin Klein be able to open up the playbook. And I'll tell you what, it really looked untethered with Marcel Reed and his legs, especially running that playbook.
Mitch, when is the last time we saw an A&M quarterback go through progressions and just
Kellen Mond?
Maybe like Kellen did it in spots, but like that was taking me back to all the way back to Johnny Manziel, Ryan Tannehill, like those days of A&M quarterbacks, because it was the 3rd or 4th read sometimes, no pun intended, for Marcel. And he hit 8 different receivers with caught a pass from him on Saturday. So he's going through his progressions. He looked comfortable doing it. You could see the reaction from Colin Klein and the camera they had in the press box. He was amped up calling that game and really excited about what his quarterback was doing. I'm not ready to throw Connor Wegman out. I think there's a lot there, but I am wondering if it's a combination of injury and not being used to playing behind a competent offensive line that has Connor just kind of shell-shocked from last year. Shell-shocked from the injury, shell-shocked from not being used to having time, because that was a big component and a reason that Marcel Reed was able to read those progressions and hit the open receiver rather than just getting it out as quickly as possible. So I don't know. I'm excited to see more of both of these guys. I selfishly hope we get both of them a lot of time with the ones against Bowling Green on Saturday and really just let the best man win. Whoever's best for this offense, whoever can run the Colin Klein offense best, because I think that guy knows what he's doing. He can call a heck of a game and put A&M in a position to win quite a few games this year.
It's a good point about the A&M offensive line. Weigman, through the first 2 weeks at times, really felt like he was seeing ghosts. We watched the offensive line dominate the Gators this past weekend. A couple of guys on War Daddy status for sure. One quarterback that is not benefiting from an elite offensive line is Davis Warren, who has just been ousted today by Alex Orji up at Michigan. Warren was a perfect 14 of 14 completing passes. If you look at it one way, the problem, as I wrote, were that 3 of those passes went to Red Wolves, not to Wolverines.
He had a line that looked like me learning the new passing controls on the new college football game when it first came out.
And, and that's something that we called from well into this offseason. A long time ago, we were telling you guys, Michigan's offensive line is not going to be the same line that won this Joe Moore Award. They're replacing a lot of pieces. The wide receivers out wide don't inspire really any sort of confidence. And then we weren't sure that Davis Warren was going to be an X factor to begin with. He really doesn't look like it. It feels like the quarterback growth and development in Michigan may have been stunted. JJ McCarthy might have been kind of the guy that got lucky and really progressed, and I think will be a fine NFL quarterback once he heals from his injury. But Michigan has Alex Orji and then Jaden Davis, who's a true freshman, as their kind of alternates, and they're going to go with Alex Orji, who is a runner, not a passer, against USC. I think Michigan's offensive identity is the real issue here, but the quarterback room and the lack of a real game changer throwing the football down the field, it doesn't help things. I think Michigan, I've tweeted this out a couple of times, if Michigan scores more than 10 points against USC and what looks to be a very improved defense, I'll be pleasantly surprised. I don't think it's going to be very close this week in the Big House.
Yeah, that all of a sudden just feels like a game that's taken a complete 180. I had no visions of USC having a path to victory in that game at points in the offseason.
I know.
This Michigan team certainly looks like a shell of its former self. Willing to give him a little bit of grace and see what they have with Alex Orji, but they weren't willing to trust him to throw the football the first few weeks of the season. I just don't see the path forward there. Mitch, take us to the other extremely disappointing team in the power conference level, Florida State Seminoles. What are we doing here?
Well, not to pile on Florida State, much has been written, much has been said about the dumpster fire that is in Tallahassee. I'm really starting to wonder if I got lucky with my Knowles coin investment and thinking that Mike Norvell was going to really take this program to new heights. What remains an issue is clearly that there's no one better behind DJ Uiagalelei to replace him. Mike Norvell today said that he's, quote, happy with the chance that DJ gives us to win. As I think our buddies over at Walk on Red Shirts tweeted, that's coach speak for, the rest of the team stinks too. Brock Glenn is a second string quarterback, and it is baffling at this point why in each of these 3 losses, they have not decided, when the offense could not be more stagnant, to go to Brock Glenn to see if they can infuse a spark. Instead, Norvell's gone down with the SSDJ, and I just don't see this offense really improving much at all. Their season, you could still say there's still kind of everything to play for within the conference. No matter how badly this season has started, you're only 0-1 in conference. So if you could somehow turn the ship around.
They lost to Boston College.
You're right. 0-2.
But 6-2 could win the ACC, or at least get you in the ACC title game.
It absolutely could. And so anyway, the point being the fact that you can make a case for their season still being ahead of them and they're not doing anything different, I think says volumes about the quality of quarterbacks that they have on campus.
Yeah, that is 100% coach speak for guys. It could be a lot worse.
We're doomed, guys.
Chill out. Florida State, just to get one last dig on them, are the only team at the FBS level that has officially will not hit their Vegas preseason win total. Hate to see that going into week 4 of the season. Mitch, we got time for one more, and I'll just say, quick for you. Have we seen the last of Quinn Ewers in a Texas uniform?
No, I don't think so. Certainly not trying to draw Texas fans off sides with this, but I do think it's an interesting thought experiment because, and I wrote this before the injury news of Quinn Ewers came out in the Texas circles, I haven't actually seen an official health update on Quinn Ewers, but I know some folks over at the Texas program, they're saying 3 weeks for Ewers. He'll be out at ULM, he'll be out for Mississippi State, and then they have a bye week before the Red River rivalry against Oklahoma. It's Arch Manning's time, and we saw him look really good against UTSA, a lesser opponent, but boy, he looked really, really good throwing and maybe more shockingly running the football for the Longhorns. Texas should cruise these next 2 weeks with Arch under center, and I think at the very least, you feel amazing about an A-plus quarterback room. You feel fantastic about your chances to not experience any drop-off come the 2025 season when Quinn moves on to the NFL.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because could this be a Wally Pipp situation? Sure. I guess there's a universe where that happens, but short of Quinn just coming back from an injury and really being noticeably worse than what they got over the next couple of weeks, there's no reason to sit Quinn Ewers. I don't think the difference would be that much better. And I feel like there's a lot of loyalty that Quinn has earned in this program for what he's brought them over the last couple of years as a starter. So, yeah, thank you for saying that. SEC Shorts joked about it today in their episode where the red button was hit and the Arch for Heisman talk is already starting in some circles. Let's tap the brakes on that. And he'll have his time very, very soon.
Gracious, how about